You're listening to Voice of the People USA Radio Network, heard in 98 countries with over 64 million listeners a month. We stream live 24/7 on our website, www.vopusaradio.com. You can also download our app for free on Android and Apple so you can listen live anytime and never miss a show. Be sure to subscribe to us on our Rumble and YouTube channels at VOPUSA Radio and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at VOPUSA Radio. We want to thank you for being part of the free speech revolution. Next up is an exclusive interview with Dan Smriglio and an incredible guest from the Believers Summit in West Palm Beach, Florida.
I'm Victoria Robinson, and you can find me on Facebook and on Instagram, Victoria Robinson. My website is reassemblelife.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So, we were talking off air. I feel bad. I should have probably hit record, but thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us. I appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. It's an honor.
It's an honor
Thanks
for me.
having me.
Thank you. And I want to ask you, this is just an informal conversation, but what brought you into the, what do we call it? Spiritual fight, into the fight for really God, righteousness, the light. What brought you into this world, if I don't mind me asking?
Yeah, I grew up as a girl in a family with a dad that was an alcoholic and a mother who had been through her own trauma. So she didn't really know how to show love. So my childhood was not the best childhood. I always made a decision when I was a kid, once I get married and have children, I am not going to be divorced. I am never going to put my kids through a divorce, because my parents eventually got divorced and it was really hard. And we were on government assistance. I would be with my mom at the grocery store and she'd be paying with food stamps. But that was back in the day when it was the paper food stamps and everyone knew. And I just was so humiliated. I felt such humiliation. And I also felt it when I had to get free lunches. And so I was just determined that was not going to be my life. I was going to do whatever I had to do to stay off government assistance. Now, I know some people need to use it for a time. What I don't agree with is when you end up letting that be your lifestyle forever.
Yes. Past through generations.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. I don't think there's any empowering. There's nothing empowering about that. And so I ended up getting married at 16 the first time, because I thought, I want that family. I want that family. And that marriage ended when I was 21. He decided to leave, and we had two little girls, a 9-month-old and a 3-year-old. And my now ex-husband said, I don't want to be married to you anymore, and I'm out. So he left. I mean, we were young. I was 16. He was 19. I wasn't pregnant. I was just stupid and naive. And so when he left, I started working 2 jobs and then having to make ends meet. As I said, I still had that bulldog in me. I was going to do whatever it took. So I took my girls to daycare at 6 a.m, picked them up every night at 6 p.m., went to my paralegal job Monday through Friday. And on the weekends, I worked at a health club as a co-manager. I met a guy at the health club. Here I was, a girl whose husband left. I'm got the 2 little girls that I'm watching cry every night or every morning when I drop them off at daycare, begging me not to leave. My life was a wreck. So I didn't like myself. I hated my life. And then I met this guy, fell madly in love. And 9 months later, we were pregnant. And he told me immediately, I love you. We can have kids later. We'll get married one day. But right now, you can barely take care of the kids you have. So you need to have an abortion. I called the abortion clinic in Charlotte, North Carolina, and they reiterated the same thing he had told me. You're only 6 weeks pregnant. It's not really a baby. How are you going to take care of these 2 little girls you have? You'd really be a selfish mom to go through with this pregnancy when those little girls are looking at you to take care of them. So I believed all the lies. And again, I had that in the back of my mind. I'm not going to struggle like my mom struggled. I'm not going to be that person. So on a Saturday morning, I went to an abortion clinic and chose abortion. And the woman I was who walked in was not the same one who walked out. It radically changed my life. I never looked at myself the same. I started hating myself. And the boyfriend and I broke up because 9 out of 10 times when an abortion happens, couples don't stay together. It's a constant reminder of what they did. I never looked at him the same. He never looked at me the same. So that started this spiraling out of control woman who had 2 now little girls to take care of, started parenting them out of fear. becoming a helicopter mom, hating myself more than I already did, and started making really bad choices. And so I went on this journey basically of didn't realize it was a journey because I thought everyone would hate me if they knew what I did. I already felt rejected by God. And one day I started going to a church and I thought maybe if I go enough, God will forgive me. Then this pain, this guilt, this shame will go away. It never did. It never did until I sought help. And the woman that was the pregnancy center director in my town actually went to the church I was attending, and she invited me to come volunteer. And that started everything where I am today, was from that chance meeting with her, starting to volunteer at a pregnancy center, and finally having the courage to tell her my story that I hadn't told anyone for over 10 years. And then she said, Vic, we're going to get you abortion trauma help. And God's going to take what the enemy meant for evil and turn it into good. So that's what he did. That was 28 years ago. And now I offer the same retreats that was offered to me 28 years ago that changed my life.
That's beautiful. You know, and I'm sorry for the hardships you had to endure, but I think you more than anybody would agree that it made you who you are.
It did. It made me who I am. I don't wish what I've gone through on anyone. I've had young women who will write me that follow me on social media, or they have heard me speak at a church or an event, and they'll tell me, hey, I know I shouldn't do this, but I can't have a baby. I look at your life and I think, well, she's okay now. She's made a success out of her life. I can do the same thing she's done because I need to have this abortion. And I jump on the phone with them right away and I let them know you can't use what I did as your crutch to make that choice. You don't see what I go through from that choice. Yes, God's redeemed my life. He's forgiven me. But you don't understand the pain that will never leave. It's always going to be there. But God forgives and we can walk in freedom. But it never leaves. It's, you always have that regret that there should be one more child here. I have 4 daughters, 4 son-in-laws. They're all married, my daughters, and 12 grandchildren.
Wow.
And I look when we're all together at family events or Thanksgiving, Christmas, and in the back of my mind, I think there should be another child here. There should be more grandchildren here. So it never goes away, but God does redeem.
Yeah. And I think it's such a hard and deeply personal story, but I think it's a beautiful story too, because the good that you're doing for others, because this demonic attack on the world, as far as I'm concerned, and I apologize for playing with my thing here. On this Wi-Fi, it always pops up. But I think that I call for what it is, a globalist, a new world order, whatever it may be, the evil that's out there. They don't believe in God, or they definitely think there's something else.
Correct.
But the biggest thing they're trying to do is pull people away from God. All this, mental health is health thing. They're pushing suicide.
Yes.
They're pushing population control reduction. They're pushing the abortions because it's all about destruction of life, destruction of innocence, destruction of God. So the fact that you are able to counter that narrative so effectively, and again, it's taking personal pain and tragedy, but turning it into something more. That's more than paying it forward. You've saved lives.
Yeah, I believe that there are, I don't know how many tens of thousands of children in my 28-year career since I've been speaking out that are alive today because my baby died. So I will not allow my child to have died in vain. The abortion industry feeds lies to women at the most vulnerable time of their life. They manipulate them into believing lies.
Yes.
And let's face it, the abortion industry is a multi-billion-dollar business. It has nothing to do with women's rights or women's health. We're going to see, because of the abortion pill, more mental health issues than we can even imagine over the next 2 to 5 years, because these women now, young women, very young women, are taking pills through the mail in states that don't allow abortion, and they're illegally having them sent to them because they're buying them online and they're getting them in the mail, and they're delivering intact children in their bathrooms or in their toilets.
Yes.
And they're being told just flush them down the toilet. I just had a client recently who had a 12-and-a-half-week baby boy delivered in her bathroom, and she shouldn't have even been given the pill because you shouldn't be taking it after 10 weeks. And she's 12-and-a-half. And she said, that wasn't a blob of tissue. I saw him. And then they said, flush it down the toilet. So it's not even just the demonic activity of abortion. if people who are pro-choice, who say to me it's a woman's body, her choice, frankly, it's not her body, it's two separate bodies. But let's just say you're someone who's pro-choice and you want to argue with me. I don't think that anybody should tell a woman if she can have an abortion or not. Okay, for the sake of argument. But shouldn't you at least have a problem with the fact that we are flushing out all throughout this country? We are flushing children down into our water systems, and we are going to pay a high price. So one way or the other, these things are going to come back to haunt us.
Yes. Soylent Green is real. The evil that they've done. I go deep in what I do. I'm hated for a reason. You know, I go into the Operation Mockingbirds, the paper clips. I go into the COVID lies and, you know, the vaccines that were trademarked back in 2015, 2016, all of it.
Wasn't it interesting that it wasn't my body, my choice during the mandated
exactly
vaccines?
What I said.
Then they want to push them on us. But yet when it comes to abortion, it's my body, my choice. It's insanity. It's asinine.
Yes.
And what I don't understand is, okay, granted, people in the secular world who don't know Jesus, people who don't claim to be Christian, because a lot of people claim to be Christian, that doesn't mean they are.
Yes.
But those that claim to know Christ actually vote still pro-choice,
which is
actually believe it's a right that we should all. It's insanity.
It's disgusting.
It is disgusting.
And I say this on both sides because we have people on our side that don't vote. I run into it all the time on my radio show. Well, I don't need to engage because I'm praying and Jesus is coming back. I said, great. Unless he RSVP'd with you, God helps those who helps themselves. So God put it in my heart. I'm going to go fight these bastards. You sit by and pray. I'm going to go fight. And you're pathetic. Yeah, you are pathetic. And the Christian sector is a huge population that don't even vote. Yes. What, 60 million plus? Yes, it's insane. If we would vote our biblical principles, we wouldn't have to worry about winning elections with candidates who are pro-life or candidates who are going to make a difference. You know, I could not ever vote, which is what I always don't argue, but make a point with the Christian or the non-Christian. How can you vote for someone who does not even protect the most innocent in the womb and expect them to protect our country and our families and make good decisions when they could care less about the unborn? These people are Stockholm syndrome, and this is MK Ultra now, and they have people so brainwashed and dumbed down. It's disgusting. Look, pastors say to me, I can't have you speak in my church because you'll offend the people in my church who are pro-choice. And then how are they going to come back to church every week, Vic, and hear about Jesus if they leave because they're offended by you? And I look these pastors in the eye and go, what are you preaching? Yeah, you're that weak. You still have pro-choice people in your church week after week. If they first come and they're pro-choice and they don't know about sin, that's one thing. They're coming to you to learn. But if you're not preaching against sin, you'll continue to have pro-choice people in your church. What are you doing to convert them? And shame on you, because one day you're going to answer to someone a lot bigger than me. Amen. I love that. I could talk to you forever. I my next interview's here. I moved them off like 5 times. No worries. I feel bad. No, it's fine. Could we do a longer form interview on my regular show? I'll give you my card. Thank you. I would love that. Sure. I would love it. I just want to say on the air before I turn it off, God bless you and thank you. And you heard it here. She's going to come back and do a longer form because I want to talk at length with you. I would love it. That'd be great. I respect you and I appreciate you so much. And God bless you and thank you for what you do.
You've been listening to Voice of the People USA Radio Network. Be sure to subscribe to us on our Rumble channel at VOP USA Radio, as well as on our YouTube channel and on Instagram and Twitter at VOP USA Radio. We stream live 24/7 on our website, www.vopusaradio.com. We want to thank you for being part of the free speech revolution.